Welcome to FirstOffTheBike.com. We're talking to Luke Belt. Luke, out of the press conference, we've just seen the impossibly handsome Andreas Raelert, mate. He's looking in pretty good nick.
He's up there with Beckham, isn't he? The absolute, I guess Beckham is the ultimate metro. Andreas, isn't he? He's clean cut, looks like his clothes have come freshly pressed out of the packet. When he grins, there's a twinkle and there's a glisten in his eye when he talks to you. It's hard to walk away and not feel bubbly and just all round buzzing.
It's very hard not to get lost in his eyes. He's got these, these powder blue eyes that it's hard. But talking about the race, we talked in the press conference about how hard this course is to race fast, and you raise a very good point in that it's often raced alone. It's one of those courses where you're often out there on your own, pushing for a long time. Given the field we have here this weekend, do you think it's going to be closer together, or do you think it's going to be, again, one of those races where it's another 8-hour day on your own?
Obviously the field that's assembled is probably the best one we've had here, and there is a number. You look at the guys that'll come out of the water. You've got Dallo, Martin Jensen, Andreas, Jeremy Jerkowitz. So there's, you're talking, 5 to 8 guys potentially that will be a small bunch on the bike, as opposed to other years, whether it be a Fattel or, a PJ or myself that's had the solo day. But then, and that makes for a closer race. It means that people will push the pace a lot more because it is a pure race. You're not worried about gauging your own solo effort. But in saying that too, the other factor is it is the end of the season for a lot of guys. So we come here hoping to do an absolute blinder in a fast time. But then sometimes the body packs up at about the 6-hour mark and doesn't want to cooperate for that last 2 hours. But, it's my feeling, and I guess my gut instincts for the weekend will be the pace will be pushed. It's going to be a bit cooler and the winds aren't as high. So, hopefully things get rolling from the gun, and you really just hope whatever unfolds. I'm not going out here to say I'm going to do a blind or anything. I just want a good steady race, but if the pace is on and the guys are going to go, it's competitive nature to go with it, and then you lay your cards out and see how you end up.
There's a fair few guys here that have kind of flown, not under the radar, but the guys like Dave Dello, who we didn't get to see in Kona this year, a guy like Jeremy Jerkowitz, who we saw a couple of weeks ago pull out a 2:03 at Mandurah on the bike and a half. There are some very talented, as you said, the field is stacked. It's the best field we've had here. Does it change it when you pick a race like that and you see these guys on the start list? How do you then change does it mean you start doing a bit more research, or how do you then refocus for when you've got to face all these top names?
You're right. There's a lot of guys that have flown under the radar. Dallo, it's people have got short memories in a way. People forget that he's been around. He's been injured for the majority of the year, but as Andreas said, he's going to be a lot fresher than the rest of us. He's going to have done a good block of training. Martin Jensen, we haven't seen his name mentioned since really Ironman Japan, and the boy can swim and bike. There's the guys still way down further down the list, like Eduardo Strula, that you haven't seen for a few years, but can actually, they have the potential to pull out a blinder too. So there is numerous guys there that, you do, but my feeling is, I set my races early in the year. I have a plan. I try to stick to that plan as much as possible. As soon as you start stressing about who's on start lists and looking at splits, and you're taking away from your own race. I figure if you're going to sign up to do a race, or you're going to plan out a season to what's going to work best for you, that's the plan you stick to. That's what your training's geared around. That's what you're mentally geared around. And why alter things? Like if I'm going to race in America and I see a stacked field, why would I pull out and go, hey, maybe I'll do a cherry pick 2 weeks later somewhere else? Why not just man up and, your training's geared towards that race. Nothing should change or alter that.
Well, Luke, we thank you for talking to FirstOffTheBike.com, and we hope you have a great race and you don't spend too long staring at the handsome man that is Andreas Raelert. We hope that you get past him at the finish line and, get another good result and end your year on a high, mate.
It's very hard to give a guy that is such good looking, to get angry. Like, he's one of the nicest guys in the sport, and how do you get angry face on and get to racing when you stand on the start line? And I'll be saying, Andreas, I really, really deep down hope you have a really good race, when I should be saying, I'm going to kick you in the shins and trip you over.
Yeah, well, Oh, I'm glad you're racing, not me, because I would just be staring at the man.
It'd be nearly one. You get to the finish line and you go, no, after you.
Oh, yeah, he's one of those guys, isn't it? Well, Luke, again, thank you for talking to us, and best of luck, and we hope you end your year on a high on Sunday.
Pleasure. We'll see you back here at the Goose for a schooner afterwards.
Beautiful.